My name is Samuel Phillip. I'm from Northamptonshire in England and I'm a professional soccer trainer. The biggest moment that shaped my future was obviously getting a scholarship to America. When I was going through my youth career in England, going through academies, and I was always a short guy, which was obviously hard to break through. I went to a tryout day in London for America through an agency, and within 2 weeks I had a scholarship offer to New Mexico, which is where I ended up going. But I'll never forget my first game. My first conference game in the US was against West Texas A&M, which is a huge Division II powerhouse. There was me, 150 pounds, less than that, 140 pound, you know, playing in a number 9 position against, I'm not joking, 2 6'4", 6'5" Norwegian defenders. And after that, I think my coach and I sort of understood I was not going to play in that position for our team. Straight after that game, I didn't start. I think I started one more game, and then I was just on the bench the whole time. Sometimes didn't get on. Our coach had an idea for where I would play, and then it changed because of an injury. And I was really, like I said, I was young, I was a little bit petulant, I didn't agree with him, I wanted to play obviously. That's what I travelled halfway across the world for, and I wasn't doing it. So it was really tough. And then at the end of the season, he thought I was a better centre midfielder, which looking back I probably was, but not in my eyes then. I was a forward, I was always a forward. And so he cut my scholarship, you know. Thought about quitting the game, questioned my ability, and then ended up getting a scholarship offer from a different college for my sophomore year in Texas, where I did really well. I think I scored 30 goals in the season, and proving to myself that I was good enough to play still was the biggest thing. And then, you know, looking back, I maybe wasn't mature enough to understand or want to understand my coaches. I always saw them as kind of like a roadblock to me being good, when really they should be the ones that are kind of supporting you, you know. And I was the sort of player that needed someone to put their arm around me and say, look, you're my man and you're going to help this team move forward. I never really had that until right at the end of my college career, where I think my coach kind of understood that he didn't get the best out of me. But again, I wouldn't change any of it. It molded me as a person today. It helped me in coaching. All those different cultural experiences, the way they communicated, things that I needed that they didn't give to me maybe, I molded that to my own kind of coaching belt, if you like. And I think that's my biggest strength today, is being able to connect with players from wherever. Doesn't matter your background, you know, your race, ethnicity. You know, I'm able to connect with those players really well. For players, if you're asking me in terms of what players can do to reach a high level, I would say focus on your nutrition and realise that what you fuel your body with can really help you on the pitch, which is something that I was ignorant when I was younger towards. I just thought, you know, I'm better than all these players. I had the wrong mentality. I should have been like, what can I do to get an inch closer to my goal, or to help my team a little bit more? And it would be nutrition, you know, drinking the water, eating the right breakfast, eating the right things before games, still enjoying your life, but just realizing that if you want to reach really high levels, you've got to fuel your body properly. Attitude is massive. Influence on other players is massive. Communication is massive. These are things I would probably look for, again, which is something that I probably struggled with when I was younger, the attitude side. You know, I had the technical side, and I think a lot of players have that. Influence, I would say, is massive. Influence on the dress, influence on the pitch. You've got to be able to communicate effectively on the field. I think people kind of lose that. If you're able to communicate well with your teammates in a precise, concise way, it helps the team play, helps people understand where they're at if they don't know themselves. So yeah, communication skills, leadership skills, attitude, work ethic, ability to learn, the want to learn, yeah, they're probably the biggest ones for sure. Immerse themselves in the game, learn every day, do your own learning, you know, watching the game. I think the biggest thing I've noticed in American players versus European players, and when I grew up, is that players don't watch the game enough in America. Even from a young age, I would be watching the game all the time. I think people kind of maybe neglect how important that is to understand the tactical side of the game, because players here, they have so much going on with all the different sports and, you know, video games and all that, which isn't bad. Playing FIFA's not bad. I mean, that's a good way to learn the game in moderation, you know, not 6, 7, 8 hours a day, but playing FIFA helps you make good decisions, and that's not a bad thing at all, but everything in moderation. I would just say to learn as much as you can, really, on your own, without someone telling you to do it. Aside from the technical components of the game, because that's probably my specialty, how to improve them technically, I would say it's more about the spatial part of the game. understanding spaces. Again, this is something I learned kind of going to see Todd at Tovo. He sees the game as spaces and kind of sectors of the field. I just think that if players are able to find space quicker and understand the space, which comes down to, your checking and your awareness, you're instantly a better player, or you look like one, because you're in more space than everyone else. And I always say to players, sometimes you'll notice players on the field that seem to always be in 2 yards of space or 3 yards of space, because they understand where they are on the field, where the other players are on the field, where the opponents are, and they're able to find those gaps. So that's probably the biggest thing I talk to, especially young players about, because if they can understand the space, they've got more time to execute what they're trying to do with the ball at their feet. My ultimate goal is, I want to just improve players and develop players as best I can. I want to create players that are intelligent, more technical than that are out there right now. Personally, I'd like to work on the youth national teams one day. I don't think I'd ever want to be a head coach, but I'd like to be a technical assistant or an attacking coach. A lot of national teams are doing that now. So in future, I'd love to do that as a role with the US national team or the England national team. That's my kind of goal for long term, when I get to my sort of mid-30s and I've taken more coaching licenses and kind of expanded my knowledge a bit more. But I think it's an attainable goal. That's something I'd love to do. Obviously grow my own academy in the US and have it one that's recognised as one that is there for players and to develop players and nothing else really. Not until college, I think, and it was because the Brazilian, when we were in junior college, we needed to create our own highlights to move on. So the Brazilian guys had a camera and filmed every game, and then they would send it to all the players that were looking to transfer, and we would make our own highlights. I've still got my highlights now from 2010. Yeah.
And what about any before that?
Before that, nah, never filmed game. I remember getting some clips of my dad's old phone or my mum's old phone, but nothing that you could analyse, or little tiny clips of 10 seconds, nothing analytical or to improve me as a player. So, wish I had it. Commit to the long-term process, understand that it's a journey. You're going to get knocked back multiple times. How do you react from those knockbacks? Sounds cliche, but it really is something that players struggle with. Understanding that it's a game of opinions, and so one coach might say that you'll never play this position or reach a certain level in the game. The next week you could play with a coach, they say, wow, you're unbelievable, come into my team and give you the platform to grow. It's a commitment, understand that it's a game of opinions, and then just have a desire and a work ethic that's unmatched. If you work harder than the next person, it's going to set you up for success. So I think work ethic's a huge thing for any player, no matter how talented you are. If you have the work ethic, it's just going to propel you forward.
Hey, I hope you found that useful. Thanks for watching. To learn more about Replayer, go to feature.replayer.com. The link is also in the bio. See you on the next episode.